Hi, my name's Casey Hill. I'm a professional makeup artist and hairstylist, and today I'm going to teach you how to curl your hair with a straightener. If you have watched any of our other videos, I have very curly hair. But today what we're going to do is do that more fashionable curl. What you need to do is really apply a heat protecting product because you're going to be using straighteners and you want to protect your hair, especially if you're like me and you have blonde hair. It can really fry. So I am going to use primer, a blow dry primer, but it will work for the same thing for straightening. Throughout all of the videos, I will add some recommendations below, so you can feel free to go shopping. So just put this through your hair. Some of them will be a spray. This one's a cream, like a gel. So put it all the way through your hair just to really protect what you've got going on from the heat that it's going to be subjected to. We've got protectant through all the way from the root to the tip. And the next thing you want to do when you're curling your hair with a straightener is really brush your hair. It seems really obvious, but it's very important to make sure there are no knots and no snags. Make sure you really brush it through. And the reason for this is when you are using your straighteners through your hair, if you catch any knots or snags, it will stop the straightener from rolling through your hair. And you can sometimes even get an actual kink, like a line, and you want to really try to avoid that. And when we section, I'm actually going to get a small comb and do the same thing each time before you run the straightener down the length of your hair. Next, you need to section your hair. Okay, so just grab some sectioning clips, or if you need to, you can just use a good old hairband. But you want to take the majority of your hair away and just pin it up. So I just roll, grab a sectioning clip and pin it out of the way. It doesn't have to be fancy, it doesn't have to be perfect, it's fine. So you've just got a little bit of hair left. Now you get your straightener out. I am using the H2D straightener. Obviously there are tons on the market. Again, we'll pop some of the links below of really good straighteners. This one I love. You can choose different temperatures. I tend to go to the highest temperature because I just think it's quicker. I know that they put different temperatures on the straighteners so that you can protect your hair and this and that, but I really think if you're using a straightener, you just want it hot, you want to get it done. Obviously, if you have very sensitive hair, very delicate hair, maybe very fine hair, perhaps go a lesser heat, but I'm up to 210. We take a very small section. Okay, it's really important to think about how much hair you're trying to curl, because if you take big chunks, it will work, but you'll find that the curl isn't as tight, it falls out quicker. There's all of these things to think about. So I always suggest if you're kind of starting out with this, take smaller sections. It's also much easier for you to work with. So I'm gonna take a section about this big. And again, you really want to brush it through. So I now use a comb on this small section and make sure that I can pull it from the root to the tip without anything catching. Because then what you're going to do is you're going to take your straightener and you're going to hold it on and you're going to run it down the shaft of the hair, but you're going to change the direction by twisting the hair. And so you see we get a bit of a curl there. So again, sometimes you have to do this a few times. So you're going to tip it over the top, twist that hair, and see how it's not catching on anything. I'm able to run it through the whole way. And so you get a really lovely little curl. So it's curled up here, all the way down here, all the way to the bottom. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that continuous curl the whole way down. I'm now going to go to the other side. Again, take a small section. This section's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make that smaller. Again, take my comb, make sure that there's no snags, because as you're running this straightener down the length of the hair, if you stop, I'll show you what happens. So if you kind of get stuck, see, like I'm sitting here, I'm effectively burning that hair into that shape. So you don't want to stop. You want to continually move down the hair so that you don't get these big kinks. And that's what happens if you stop or are stuck on a bit of a knot or a snag. So you want to go the whole way down without stopping. And see how the hair is wrapped round. Now you can see smoke coming off my hair. Don't panic. That's because of that product that we put through it. And that's actually a good thing, because that means that that's the product, not your hair burning. So that's a good thing, because your hair wouldn't really do that unless it's actually frying off. Okay, so there you go. So there you've got another one. Again, you can almost still see that kink that we've created, and that's why it's so important that you don't stop as you're coming down the hair. I'm going to show you one more time. It does get more tricky when you're behind yourself, but it's okay, it's doable. Sometimes you just need to shake out your arms. Okay, so we've got another section here. Again, a very small section. Try to use the same size sections throughout the whole head of hair. It will make the curl pattern more uniform. Okay, so I've got my brush, my comb. I'm combing through to make sure that we don't have any knots. Straighteners right to the end. Flip it over. That end of the hair flips over the top of the straightener, and I'm tilting my straighteners as I roll down. And there you go. And as you can see, I often do a little flick with my finger at the end just to put it into that curl. You almost want to train the hair in the way that you want it to go. So there's another one. Now you may be wondering why I'm turning my straightener different ways, and there is actually a reason behind this. So when you are curling your hair, if you curl all of the strands of hair the same way, so we would tuck, say, over every time, all the way around your hair, that means that you'll get more of a vintage wave. When you brush out your hair, if the hair has all been curled the same way, the curls are the same. So when you brush them out, they will all fall in the same pattern. And that's very beautiful, and that's a very specific style. So just be aware, if that's the look that you want to do, perfect. If you wanted a more relaxed, say beachy, tousled kind of sexy wave or sexy curl, alternate the way that you curl your hair. So you're gonna curl that way, and then the next strand of hair, you're gonna curl that way. So that creates different curl patterns, and so the hair is often a bit messier, but also just a bit fuller. So it's just two very different styles depending on which way you curl each of your sections. Okay, I'm going to curl the rest of my hair, and I have a lot of hair, so it will take way too long for you to watch, so we're gonna speed this up. So we've curled most of this. As you can see, all different ways. Some of them are tighter than others, but that's okay, actually, for the look that I want. And I've left these two pieces at the front because I just want to talk to you about, again, the direction of the way you curl. Now, it's a much more flattering curl around your face if you curl away. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your straightener and you're going to place it into the roots and then twist away from your face and then roll down the hair. Now this makes the curl fall away from your face so that it kind of frames you and it opens up the curl. So as you can see, that's now gone backwards. And again, we're going to do the same on the other side. Obviously, you're going to be curling it the opposite way, but again, so pop it into the root and turn it away from your face. So this curl is going to come out facing away, framing your face. You see that there? So that opens up the curl, it opens up your face, and it's a bit more of a flattering way of curling all this kind of section around here. Okay, so the next step is to spray your hair. Now, again, you can spray it with so many types of products. I love a good old hairspray. Now, if you are enjoying this tutorial and you wanted to see more, please make sure to subscribe and like, chuck some comments in there, and feel free to browse through the whole channel. Okay, so at this point we've curled, we've sprayed or popped some product through, and what you need to do now is wait. You need to let the curls cool. So you've used a hot straightener on your hair, which is great, but now what you need to do is let them cool before you touch them, brush them, try to style them again in any other way. And by waiting for it to cool, the curl is gonna hold 20 times better. So walk around like Curly Sue just for 10 minutes even, and it will make a massive difference to the final product. We've waited our 10 minutes, we've cooled down. You can even just feel them, see if anything still feels warm. If it's all cool, you're ready to go. Now, you can create, again, some kind of different looks by the different brushes that you use. There's from one extreme to the next. If you wanted, you could just use your fingers and just rake through, and that will leave quite a defined curl. I really like using a brush like this. This one's from Hask. If you wanted to really brush out the curl and almost just have a wave, it's great to use like a paddle brush, something like this, with lots of these little spurs. I don't even know what you call that. And by brushing through with this, it's going to really pull out the curls, and you'll almost get more of a wave as opposed to a defined curl if you used something like just your hand. So we are going to use this kind of comb, and I'm just starting at the bottom. And I'm just gonna brush through. You've got that hairspray in there, so it can pull a little bit, and that's okay. But I'm just trying to pull through all of those curls so that it's not so sectioned. And then just give it a little shaky shake. And as you can see, by curling away from our face, the way that curl sits is just much more flattering. And it means that you can kind of see your face a bit better, as opposed to if the curl came inwards and it would almost sit over your eyes. It's quite a vintage look. It's definitely a look that you could go for, but it gives a very different finish. So I'm just gonna go through with the other side as well. So last but not least, I always like to put a tiny bit more product in once you've brushed out those curls. So this is a curl cream from NAC. Again, lots of different options will pop below, but what it does is this one just gives the ends a little bit of definition. Sometimes after you've brushed curls out, they get a little bit fluffy, as my hair is. It's very good at being fluffy. So just by popping a bit of product through those ends, you put a tiny bit more definition back in. And again, this all is going to help to hold that curl for the rest of the day. Again, sometimes you want to just get in your part line because you can get a little bit fluffy or some flyaways, and it's always nice to just treat those. Again, just around the front, you don't want to have too much fuzz or fluffiness, and just train those little curls with your fingers. And there you go. That's our finished product. Curly hair using a straightener.